Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. We've got a great show for you coming up. We've got a quick tip from Robert McCall. We're going to talk about GBO and who can register now. We're going to talk a little bit about the dates for the disc golf experience at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And we have an interview with Eric McCabe, who is on assignment designing a course. All that next. Let's go.
All that next and
all
more.
All that and more.
And stuff.
I don't like you. All right, so we've got in the studio with us Mr. Robert. Did okay on Saturday, but not so good on Sunday. No.
I did okay both days.
Both days. You did good.
Not great, but okay.
You're a good disc golfer.
Yeah, but sometimes just not quite good enough.
McCall.
Know? Yeah, there it is.
Wait a minute. We forgot to adjust for our third person.
I thought you said we were just going to do the two of us.
Oh, I was going to start out with Anthony and then move over to Denise.
But she gone.
We'll do a few questions here. This is so awkward. Who plans this stuff?
Do you want?
So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First, let's talk about today is November 7th. We're recording on November 7th. Mm-hmm. So by the time you listen to this, if you are an international player and you are an amateur division, you can now register for the Glass One Open. I want you to know that. You can go to glass1open.com and select the register now link, or just go to Disc Golf Seeing and look for Glass One Open, and you are able to register. Also, if you are a 2017 spectator badge holder, meaning last year we had spectator packages where you could buy a spectator pack. You don't have to be a spectator, or you don't have to pay to spectate, but these are special packages for people that want to kind of be part of the disc golf experience. If you still have your badge, or I guess I'm sure they have it on record. Yeah. From last year, you can actually register starting today.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are you excited about Glass One Open?
I don't really like Glass One Open personally. Yeah. No, it's just not. No, Glass One, oh man, it's just unbelievable. Like, yes, I work at DD. Yes, they sign my paychecks. That notwithstanding, the Glass One Open is one of just the coolest tournament venues and environments that I think is out there. I think it ranks right up there with the Vibram Open and Beaver State and places like that. It's just, golly, it's so cool. There's just so many things happening all the time. We're in a small enough town where the city embraces disc golf. We've got courses all over the place, and people are always asking how the tournament's going, and they're airing the live coverage on the TVs in the restaurants. It's just, man, it's just such a fun time of year, and it's such a fun place to do it. So I'm excited to be here because we had Glass One last year right after we moved here. So we'd only been here for a month and a half. So I'm excited to have settled in a little bit more and then get going on it this year.
So like I said, registration has opened as of November 7th at 7 p.m. Central for international players in the AM divisions. Yep. And then for the 2017 spectator badge holders. I would not wait.
No, do not.
Do not wait. If you have the funds, please register as soon as possible. Next week, November 14th at 7 p.m. Central, it opens for all amateur divisions and age-protected divisions. Mm. That is when the rush of people come in and register, and that's when we will say, be like, wow, this thing is selling out fast.
Yep.
In fact, we have a planned sort of a live GBO registration-a-thon. Me and Doug are going to go live, and we're going to just kind of talk about different maybe questions that people have about registration, and then try to just kind of pump up the audience or the listeners or watchers, whatever. Just get people hyped up about the registration. Mm-hmm. So it should be a really fun time. So
Doug's not the type to get hyped up, though. He's a pretty calm.
He's pretty even keel.
Yeah.
So I might have to buy him some cigars or something.
Sure,
because he loves cigars.
Or just put on your party hat or something, and then everyone will be like, "Wow, Bobby is hyped."
Maybe get those eyes that kind of
yes.
Party eyes, yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot of questions, guys, so we're going to hop right into the questions. As always, remember, you guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf question, and we will get it on the air. We've got a lot of speak pipe questions, so we're going to answer those now. As you may have noticed, we have added a third person to this particular show because Eric McCabe is on assignment doing some course design.
Good.
We called him before we recorded. We called him earlier, and we're going to have that interview on the show here in a bit for you. So, but what do you say we hop into the questions?
Yes. Let's.
First one is from Sean.
Hey, DGAM fam. This is Sean Lupton. I'm from Smackover, Arkansas. Real quick question. I recently bought a Truth. I guess not realizing that there's a difference between a regular Truth and an EMAC Truth. I really kind of thought that like all Truths were EMAC Truths, but after looking at the disc and seeing it, it doesn't have the EMAC logo on the bottom. It just has the Truth. What's the flight difference in a regular Truth and an EMAC Truth? Are they like thrown the same? Is it better for forehand or backhand? Thanks, guys. I appreciate the answers.
That's a good question. And before I let you guys get into the more finer details of the flight, let me explain. So the Truth is, well, at the beginning, was a disc created specifically for Eric because he's a world champion. We, of course, give him a signature disc. And he was actually able to be part of the process of figuring out how he wants it thrown. Not how he wants it thrown, how he wants it to be when he throws it. So he was able to work with Thomas and Latitude 64 and say, hey, I wanted to do this. I want to do this. And, of course, there's a whole nother story about the Truth and the verdict. But anyway, it ended up being the Truth was his disc. Well, something happened somewhere along the lines of the actual mold that what do you call it? Oh, it's just the mold, yeah?
Yeah, mold's right.
The mold, something happened, and the Truth started not being the Truth, or at least the way Eric had envisioned it. So Thomas went back to the drawing board and did some tweaks and finally came out with the disc that Eric wanted it. But we also noticed that the changes that had happened to the Truth were actually very popular. People liked the way it was throwing for them. So we came to the decision to keep the Truth as it was at that present time, and then also have the EMAC Truth, which would be Eric's signature disc. So that's why we have a Truth and EMAC Truth. But you guys tell everybody what it is exactly about the flight that is different between the two.
Sure. The EMAC Truth, just as you said, has a little bit more stability, high speed and low speed stability, which means that it can handle more power. It'll fly on relatively straight line for somebody with I don't know, quite a bit of power. You can put some heat behind it and it'll fly pretty straight and just finish to the left for you straight out of the box. And then the regular Truths are quite a bit straighter out of the box and even have a little bit of right turn if you really get on them. And so that's what I carry an original Truth for. That's the one that you're talking about that you bought, Sean. I use that for like slower speed straight shots or slight turnovers. If I hit it pretty hard, it'll just turn on its own and hold over. And then the EMAC Truths I use for most everything else. For my overstable shots, I use a moonshine for that. Just kind of my straight ones. I have a couple different ones that I like for that. Do you throw the original Truth or just the EMAC?
I don't. EMAC? Yeah, I just throw the EMAC because I was a fan of the evidence.
Yeah,
and I could get that because I don't have a very big arm, so I could get that to flip just a little bit easier. And so I never really. I tried it. I used it for a couple of weeks. But I just had more confidence with the evidence.
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty comparable to one another. The really evidence simple. Probably has a little bit more turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. All right, next one comes from Joey.
What's up, Disc Crew? Just want to give a shout out to Ralph. Get well soon, buddy. Hey, guys, I got a question. I'm still kind of new to playing tournaments, and I basically just play one-day tournaments with 2 rounds. And I can't get off the wagon very good in the second round. And don't really start playing well till about 9 holes in. So just curious what you guys do in between rounds if you have something like that. Do you spend more time throwing holes or putting or what? All right, appreciate it, guys.
Good question. Yeah. I've fallen prey to this before as well. And this happens to me especially when I'm just playing a 2-round tournament and I go to lunch and it takes a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Because then I get back and maybe I've only got 10 minutes before my round starts or 5 minutes before my round starts. And so I want to make sure that my putt feels good. So I'll putt a few times. And then, it just feels like it takes a minute to get back into your rhythm. or something like that. And so I like to eat a pretty quick lunch, usually a sandwich or something, because those places generally take less time. And then get back to the course almost as soon as I can and really get warmed back up. So before the round, I generally play a few holes, about 5 to 7 holes, where I'll actually throw a drive, go and putt a few times from a couple of drives just to make sure I feel confident on that hole. For the second round, I just throw my discs because I'm already pretty warm. I haven't been stationary for that long, so my muscles are still pretty warm. But I just want to make sure that I'm hitting my lines, hitting my spots. And so I've had that happen to me, and it's usually when lunch takes too long and I just don't have enough time to warm up. So you dedicate a lot of time to warming up in the morning, but a lot of times we overlook that in the afternoon. So that's what I think might be happening to you.
I've never really had that issue. Usually for me, it's the other way, where I'll have the really bad first round, and then I'll always have a really good second round, mostly because I shoot myself out of it the first round.
And then there's nothing on the line.
Exactly. Not what you want to do. But what you can take from it is just don't pressure yourself. If you notice this trend, don't, try not to think about it. Don't go into the second round thinking, okay, these first 8 holes are going to be rough. Maybe go into it and just say, okay, I'm just going to get 2 pars out of the way. And then just get yourself, back in the groove, and then start going for those 60-foot putts that maybe you wouldn't normally run. But just don't add the extra pressure to yourself.
I like it.
Excellent. Next one comes from Zach. And I hit the wrong button.
Too bad,
now, Zach.
What's going on, Bobby? Cold Daddy, Flick, Breathe, Eric and Robert. My question for you today is, if all the characters of The Office were different types of dynamic discs, what discs would they be? Thanks. Have a great day.
Robert is going to spend the next 20 minutes.
I know. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so let's just go over a couple, because I don't want to do every.
No, just go with 4 main characters. 3 or 4.
So Dwight, what disc would Dwight be, and why?
Okay, Dwight is key to the show, but not the main show, right? So he's a disc I throw quite a bit, but like if I didn't have him, I could survive. That would probably be the trespass for me.
Okay.
I really, really like the trespass. And Dwight has some fantastic moments in the show. Quintessential Office moments. Right. But yeah, I would say the trespass. Okay. Then you move over to Michael. The show kind of falls apart after Michael leaves. I mean, it's fine, but it really just isn't. So that's a staple. Like, you have to have this in order to survive. That for me would be
I would think you would go Warden.
But
a heartbeat.
But I have to save Warden for Jim, because Jim is
just kind of that steady.
Like that. Jim for me is what makes the show.
Just keeps everything together.
Yes. Okay. Maybe not what makes the show, but like if you were to make a tier list of characters, Michael and Jim are around that same tier. Dwight is close to that, but maybe a little bit below it, and everyone else you could kind of list below. There are a couple of people who just like make a scene if they're in it really well, like Kevin or like a Creed or somebody like that. So for Michael, I would say probably the defender for me. I'm going to use it all the time. If I didn't have it, I'd be really sad. Jim would be the Warden. Gets the lion's share of the lines and scenes. Gets used a lot. Is a workhorse. And then Pam. Pam's just like a feel good character in general, right? She the scenes that she's in, most of the time you're rooting for her. Unless she's like being a little annoying, and then you're like, "Hey, stop that." And that's not very often. It's just sometimes. And so for that, I would say Pam would be like the verdict. Like, I can count on it, but I don't need it every single round.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
That's off the top of my head for a question I never thought I'd be asked. That's the best answer I've got.
Now. All right, let's hear from Rock. Where you at, Rock? Nope. Sorry. Something's not right with the audio.
The Rock?
No, not the Rock.
The Rock. Dang.
All right. Let's hear from Sean again. All right. Let's see if something is up. I'm going to go back to Rock, but because I bet you that was my fault. And Whoa.
Can you smell?
I was going to say, I wonder if he's just going to ask.
G'day, Disc Golf fans,
there
man
we
crew.
go.
This is Rock from Australia. Been a fairly long time listener and first time caller, as they say. Really enjoyed hearing Danny Lindell come onto your podcast earlier. I've very much enjoyed his videos. A combination of his enthusiasm and his technical know-how has been really good to follow. So if anyone else out there hasn't seen his YouTube clips, please do yourself the favor if you're trying to learn how to throw this piece of plastic. It'll do you no end of good. My question is for you guys, McCabe, McCall, Mr. Brown, anyone else who happens to be visiting.
Thank you, Rock.
What kind of drills and activities do you do when you're working a short game, your upshots with your putters and your mids? And more importantly, if you were able to go back in time, what activities do you do now do you wish you had started doing earlier on? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
That was a fantastic call-in question.
Well
that
done.
dude's voice is awesome. I want.
you just
Yeah, I mean, no,
you can call in
just the
anytime and
accent?
just ask
Yeah.
anything.
Thanks, Rock. What do you think, man? What sort of drills do you do now when you're working on your short game?
I mean, I just try and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, some people play 21 or whatever, but I find if I'm just sitting there and I go, you know, okay, I'm just going to work on 15 to 20 feet, I get bored after 15 to 20 minutes if I'm lucky. And so I'll just try and have fun with it, make a game. Sometimes, you know, you'll run through everything from 5 feet out to 30 feet. You put everything 3 times, total that score up, and then try and beat it the next time. There's a million different games. Like I said, 21, you could play with a buddy or, you know, a couple friends, but just try and have fun with it. Just because for me personally, I'm not good at putting. And so when I work on it, it's very frustrating because I tend to miss quite a lot. So yeah, I just try and keep it fun, keep it light, but focus on it and actually get some work done.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good recommendation. And any drill that you do in general, if it's not fun, it's just you aren't going to want to do it for a long time, just like you said.
Yeah.
So if it is something that matters to you that you enjoy doing, it's a lot easier to do. That's for me. I used to really not like putting because I was very not good at it.
Same.
And once I started realizing, you know, if I enjoy putting, if I look forward to putting, like, oh man, like I get to putt now instead of like, I'm scared I have to putt now. That makes a big difference on how you feel about it. And so once I switch that mentality, now I view every putt as a challenge. And so I like getting to go practice putt because it's like you said, I'll play games like that where you go from 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 and add those up. Like Perfect Putt 360 is one of those apps that you can use. It's kind of like that. Add those up and I do that. But then for more short game, like approach type stuff, I don't like to just go to a field and only throw approaches. I like to use them in situations that I would actually do them. So I'd go to somewhere like Hammond, which is a shorter 9-hole course here in town. I'd take my Wardens and probably my Slammers and just go and throw different lines on every single hole where I could see that you might actually want to throw that line. And that's just for feel because upshots are entirely about feel and knowing how far when I throw a disc, how much power I need to put behind it to achieve that distance. And so it's just all about feel. So going to a shorter course makes it more fun. If you are still trying to learn that game in general, if you're trying to learn that portion of your game, then yeah, go out to just one basket wide open, 150 feet away and just throw and throw and throw until you have that feel, then put it in different situations. I like that sort of thing. He had a second part of his question as well. What would you like to have integrated earlier? For me, that would be videoing myself throwing earlier so that I could catch flaws in my form earlier on and try and build it better even from the start. Because following knee surgery, I have my form is quite a bit different than it was before. But had it been, perfect or really, really good before, maybe it would be like, 80% of that now. But since it was like it had some definite flaws I didn't really put a whole lot of work into before, now it's 80% of that, which wasn't as good as it could have been. So yeah, videoing myself throwing and practicing that, I think, is a really good one.
Mine 100% is understable discs.
Yeah.
For the first probably 5 years I played, like I would not throw anything that turned. Because if there was wind, it would just flip over, and I was like, "That's a dumb disc. That's stupid.
This thing sucks.
Can't throw this thing." Yeah, and even still, I don't bag that many understable discs. But I think they're so much more useful because you can use them in a tailwind. You can shape shots with them. You can hit all these different lines. They go farther. So yeah, I really wish I had used those and learned to throw understable discs earlier.
You've been throwing that pure quite a bit. That's really beat up.
Sure have.
And that's been cool to watch.
Super nice.
Anthony will let that go on Hyzer, just pop up to flat and then slight turn or a lot of turn depending on how hard he throws it.
And it doesn't fade.
Right. Just it's not going to go back left.
Yeah, I can throw it 100 feet or 200 feet. Does not fade.
Yeah, I like it.
It's real nice.
Something that I want to make sure that we let people know about. I know this is way ahead of time and way, but it's not.
You know what? It's your show.
I know it is my show. But no, it's our show.
Yeah, thanks,
but I mean, come on.
But mostly mine. So I'm teasing. But I want you to, if you are in the Kansas area,
or in the any area,
obviously you can fly to Kansas City if you want to. But we've done the disc golf experience at 3 different places. We've done it 5 different times, but at 3 different places. The first one was at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Then we were able to work with Mike Salt. Actually, Mike Salt worked with us because he put it all together.
Right.
He did it at the Poconos Raceway. Then we were able to do it at the Nissan Stadium, home of the Tennessee Titans. And next year for 2018, on June 16th, we are going to go to Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's awesome.
Chiefs. Kingdom. Nation. So I know that Eric is a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, so he is super excited. A lot of people around here are super excited. We are all super excited. Myself, Eric, Jeremy, and Doug actually went down there about a month ago and talked to the people that kind of coordinate this stuff as far as events in the stadium. And I'm gonna keep it real.
You know what? I was hoping you would.
It's still your show.
It's still myself.
You still keep it.
So I was okay. So AT&T was a really nice stadium.
Yeah, like just nuts.
No offense, but Tennessee, the Nissan Stadium was
okay. It's just different.
It's different, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Kansas City, the Arrowhead, that is a nice stadium.
Yeah.
Nice throughout, nice places for you to watch the game on TV and drink, or places for you to just meet and talk with people. The place that we're going to have the VIP experience is
it doesn't suck. We went to a game. We went to the Monday night football game.
Oh yeah.
Shay and I went with Eric and Joseph, and Eric told me where we were thinking about going from.
It's going to be nice. So if you just want a complete disc golf experience, a disc golf stadium experience, you definitely want to be a part of the disc golf experience at Arrowhead Stadium. Rumor is tickets will go on sale sometime February. Okay.
Start saving now. And planning. And
keep your
and walking free. Because by the time we schedule it, you'll be there.
And we're really hoping to.
No matter where you're from.
Hopefully I'm gonna get in trouble.
You're gonna get in trouble.
We're really hoping that one of the discs we're able to work it out to have the colors of the Kansas City Chiefs and the new little thing we got going with latitude,
the old two mold thing, the old
overmold thing. So hopefully we can work it out. That would be really cool. No guarantees, but so anyway, so mark your calendars. June 16th, 2018, disc golf experience at Arrowhead Stadium. It's going to be off the hook. See, I'm bringing all kinds.
Is that what the kids say these days?
Off the hook.
That sounded like it. Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the questions. Let's take a couple more. This one's from Jug. Joe Doug. Oh, no, I forgot Sean. Sean's second question.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, DGAM fam. This is Sean Lupton from Smackover, Arkansas again. Thanks for answering my questions last time. Today, I have 2 questions. I currently use a Latitude 64 Mercy putter and a Zero Soft. It's the only putter I've ever owned. I throw it off the tee. I use it to putt. I only have one. I'm thinking about getting a harder putter. Should I go with a hard, or should I just kind of upgrade a little bit to a medium? What's the difference in flight and how they putt? Appreciate some answers on that. My second question is, I'm working on my little mini 6-hole course in my yard, and I'm working out how to get it done, but I've been looking on your website at baskets. You have the Recruit and you have the Patriot. Now, would it be better to get the Patriots or the Recruit? And like, I would need, say, 6 of them. Like, do you get a better price for ordering multiple baskets at once? Or could I just kind of space it out and buy one here and there when I have the extra money? Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Good question. Let's tackle the hard versus medium plastic question first.
Sure. If you are currently putting with a soft plastic putter, I think blend is your best choice, or medium, if you're throwing a Mercy, is your best choice to check out next, because I think there is more of a difference from soft to blend than people actually think, and less of a difference from blend to hard than people actually think. You know, I can tell if I was just to hold this is a blend slammer that we're actually going to give away this week at some point.
Yep.
Or I guess announce that we're giving it away.
Right. No, we're giving it away.
Well, no, I know we did the giveaway for it last week, but like we're giving it away today. We're choosing the winner. Okay. I'm going to say more stuff. Okay. So like I could tell that this is a blend disc, but if it was warm outside, you could say, oh, maybe that's a blend disc, maybe it's a hard disc. Soft plastic in general, you know that it's soft plastic, and so there's less of a difference between the hard to blend or hard to medium as there is from medium to soft. So if you're interested in trying out one that's more in the middle, I would definitely do a medium Mercy. It's going to fly pretty similarly. It's going to feel firmer for sure, but not. Some of the hard plastic is really, I mean, it's hard. It's not giving at all, and so that's good when it's warm outside because you don't want it to be so affected by the heat. But since it's getting a little cooler, I would definitely recommend a medium. Yep. You throw some more medium-ish plastic, yeah?
That pure that you were talking about earlier is a medium.
Yep.
But for actual putting, I love the Prime.
Yeah,
I went from soft wardens to blend to the Prime, and so I don't know if there's a retro Mercy.
There is.
Okay, I would definitely recommend that. Mm-hmm. To me, it just seems to be the straightest, and it's kind of right between the blend and the hard. Like you were just saying, there's not much of a difference, but I feel like the Prime Retro Origio from Westside is kind of right there. It's closer to the hard than the medium,
but I think you can feel a difference for sure.
Yeah, and to me, it just, I don't know, maybe it's just with the wardens. I don't know, I haven't tried the Mercy, but it just seems to go straighter longer, and I really like that. But like you said, for the winter, I'm definitely going to go back to probably either a blend or a soft.
No doubt.
Just for the cold.
No doubt.
So, did he said the baskets were just for his backyard, did he say?
He's putting a 6-hole course in at his house because this is the same gentleman who drove kids a couple of hours to go play.
Oh, okay.
And a couple of them were hooked, but they don't want to have to drive 2 hours. So he was looking at doing, 6 or so holes around his house.
So the difference between a Patriot and a Recruit, right? That's the okay. So the Recruit, okay, just so you guys understand, a Recruit basket is a practice basket. Mm-hmm. It's portable, it's lightweight, it's easy to take apart, so you can put it in your trunk if you want to. But it's designed to put into your shed or put into your garage and then come out whenever you're ready to go practice. Now, I know some people have left it out in the weather and rain and stuff like that, and it survives pretty good. But it's not, when it was built, it wasn't designed to be something that stayed out in the, quote, elements for a long period of time. Whereas the Patriot is more designed, the metal that we use, the chains that we use, and the process done on the outside of the other parts that are not the chain, are designed to withstand the elements better, much better. Mm-hmm. So I guess you got to ask yourself, Sean, is that if it's going to be a permanent course where you're literally going to put the baskets in the ground and they're going to stay there and they'll never come down except maybe during the winter you take them out of the ground sleeve and put them away for the winter or something like that, then I would recommend the Patriot. If it's something that you're going to put out and then let people play for a little bit and then put back in, until the next time people come over, then I would say the Recruit is a much better choice for you. Now, obviously, there's a price difference, but there's a price difference because there's material difference.
Right.
The material in a Patriot, again, is designed to withstand the elements and stuff like that. As far as discount pricing, I honestly, I don't know what we do as far as multi-purchases. Yeah. Definitely send an email to coresales@dynamicdiscs.com. ask for Justin, I believe, Justin, and tell him what you're doing, tell him what your plans are, and see what he can work out for you.
Right. Yeah. Course, COURSE, sales, all one word. Course sales at dynamicdiscs.com.
Yep. All right, guys, let's take a real quick break. When we come back, we're going to actually hear from Eric McCabe. I called him real quick before we started recording this actual podcast to hear what he's got going on out in Escanaba, Detroit.
You mean Michigan?
I meant Michigan. Why did I say Detroit?
I don't know.
Detroit's in Michigan.
Did he have to? That's why, because he was on his Snapchat account and he posted something on Detroit.
Yes.
So that was on my mind.
Yes, sir.
From Emporia, Kansas City.
Yes.
Other city close by.
Now let's go on the break.
Yeah, okay.
Wintertime equals cold, dark, and bad weather. And for most of us, that means no disc golf. And with a drop-off in practice, usually comes a drop-off in skill. And we don't want you to have to give up something that you love for several months out of the year. The Winter Marksman League is here to help. This league can be set up anywhere and uses a universal set of rules so that you can see how you stack up against competitors worldwide via a special partnership with the UDisc app. And if you win your league, you win a Marksman basket. We have a couple of options for how you can run your Winter Marksman League. For $200, which includes free shipping to the continental United States, you receive a Dynamic Discs Marksman basket and 6 Winter Marksman League stamped putters that will go to the weekly winners. For $300, along with that same free shipping, you get 2 Dynamic Discs Marksman baskets along with the 6 putters for the weekly winners. Disc golfers always stress the importance of putting, and we don't want your winter months to go to waste. So go to dynamicdiscs.com/WML and register for your Winter Marksman League today.
So tell us what do you got going on out there, Eric?
Out here, we are, I came up last March and designed a course up here, a 27-hole course, and they invited me back to come out and make sure all the stakes are in place, and the wood chippers are coming in tomorrow to cut some of the fairways that need to be cut out. And that's the beauty of this course. It doesn't really need a lot of larger trees to fall. It's a lot of just smaller, more of like it's almost like weeds, but they're just kind of in tree form. So a lot of that stuff, some underbrush needs to come out, and they just wanted to make sure that I was here and that it was done right, as opposed to them cutting a fairway and me coming back later at a later date and being like, wait, this isn't the fairway.
Yeah,
you know.
Heck,
so
man?
It was really refreshing to come up, and actually all of my Dynamic Discs flags that I put in the ground back in March are still here, still in the ground. They're a little faded, but we found them all, and we put GPS coordinates down to them. The guy's coming out tomorrow to do some cutting. We're going to do an official groundbreaking tomorrow afternoon, get the press involved, the local newspaper, a couple TV channels are going to come out and do some stuff. So it's pretty exciting things they got going on up here.
Very nice. Now, did you? I'm sorry if you already said that, but how many holes did you say was out there?
It is a 27-hole course, and it's really cool because it's the whole front side of when you first pull into the park is a ski hill, a man-made ski hill. So there's 6 holes that are going to be on the ski hill. It's actually the last 6, and then like 1 through 6 is this really tight wooded shots, and then the next 6 holes are a little bit more open woods, a little elevation, and then you've got some open shots. So this course is it's very unique to the area, and really all around, just all courses I've ever been to. There's it's kind of like sections of, you could play the first 6, and then when you're on the next 6, it feels like you're in a whole nother park. So it's awesome. Really kind of just very cool area. So I'm pretty excited for this one to go into the ground early spring.
What would you say, what were some of the ranges as far as the distance on some of the holes?
That's the beauty, man. There's so much land out here. It's just wide open. I mean, as far as disc golf, there's nothing else that goes on. There is a cross country trail that goes through there for skiing, cross country skiing. So in the wintertime, it's kind of shut down for some of that. But we're doing 2 tees on every hole, and they're actually going the extra step and putting 2 basket placements on every hole. So each hole is going to have 2 baskets that you can throw to. The short is going to be relatively easy for more beginners, AM style golf. And then the long is a true championship level course. I think we've got 2 par 5s and about 8 par 4s on the course. So nice. It's going to be stretched out pretty long when it's all long.
Very nice.
That's really
cool.
Now,
what would you I can't remember if you said, did they purchase veteran baskets as well, or?
Yep. They have red and blue veterans coming up here. So that's even cooler, right?
Yeah, that's going to be nice. So you said a few holes are on a ski slope. Is there in my mind, I'm picturing quite a bit of elevation changes. Is a lot of it elevation changes, or describe that for us?
It's not a whole, like you drive up a hill to get to the park.
Okay.
And there's slight elevation, similar to Jones East, I would say.
Okay.
So a little bit of elevation there on throughout the majority of the course, but obviously the parts that are on the actual ski hill, the final 6 holes are, nothing but elevation. There's nothing flat about it. So it's down across huge valleys. And the beautiful thing is I don't want to say the wrong lake, but I want to say Lake Michigan maybe is the lake right there. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. But one of the Great Lakes you can actually see from the top of the ski hill looking out over, and it is just an absolute gorgeous view. It's going to be phenomenal for people to come up here and get a play during the summertime when it's a little bit warmer than it is right now. But actually being able to see the pretty view of the Great Lake right out in front of you is going to be pretty cool.
Man, that sounds nice. So this is your second time out there. What was your mindset going out there? Did you, or I guess what I'm asking is, did you see anything that you had already laid out and you thought, oh, what was I thinking? Or were you pretty much like, yes, this is going to be golden? Does anything change seeing something like this for the second time?
Right. This is actually my 3rd time up here.
Okay.
They flew me up just to pick the property because there was a couple different options that we were going with, and this is the one that we all agreed with. And then the second time I came up, I designed the course. And this time coming up, walking through the course, I even got more excited about everything that's going in, everything that the city and the town and the disc golf club around here are doing to help fund it, to organize everything, get it in the ground. There wasn't one hole that I looked at and like, what was I thinking here? Everything I looked at was like, this is awesome. This is so much cooler than I even remember it. So
very cool.
I'm very excited to get this course in the ground.
That's awesome. Well, Robert looked it up, and you are correct. It was Lake Michigan that's nearby.
We would assume it would have been Lake Michigan, but that seemed right. For the people who are listening now, we're just now putting out the Luck of the Draw doubles from the Hollows disc golf course, which was definitely the most tightly wooded course that we've played in Luck of the Draw so far.
Yes.
Compare that's your design, and then this is going to be one of yours as well. Just kind of compare those two. If people are watching that video and they're thinking, oh, maybe this is exactly what I'll see, maybe it'll be partly kind of like this. So kind of give people an idea of how those courses compare to one another and kind of what goes into designing a course like the one in New Hampshire and then this one in Michigan as well.
Yeah. They're actually 2 completely different style courses.
Nice.
The Hollows, as you guys both know, it is thick woods.
Super woods.
It took a lot longer designing that course because getting to know the area, just getting lost in the woods and, marking a few trees here and there so you can see them later and remember where you are, and a lot of GPS tagging and all that good stuff. So, there's a lot more that goes into designing a really thick wooded course, as where this one is going to be more, I like to call it open woods. There's a lot of trees. You're throwing through a lot of trees, so it's not just all wide open, but there's fairways, like lanes to hit. Multiple different lines that you can hit, kind of like in a way similar to Soden's Grove, the 9-hole that we just played, but a lot longer. Similar sized trees, just kind of sporadic throughout the course. The other difference between the 2 courses is the Hollows, the one that's in the ground now, is I don't want to say beginner friendly because long to long out there is a very challenging, difficult course. But this course going in the ground up here in Michigan, the long to long is, I mean, just true championship level, just absolutely a lot of placement golf, a lot of don't just go for the green. Not every hole is going to be deuceable, that kind of style of golf. So
nice.
They're two completely different animals, but they're both great in their own respective ways.
That's awesome. And I love getting to hear about, you said there's 2 par 5s and something like 8 par 4s out there. I love playing disc golf courses that have that many par 4s because it's a different style of course, a different style of golf. And I don't know, I like that. So that's really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. And we're going to do a ribbon cutting sometime in May, I believe. And I'm going to try to get, the Dynamic Discs crew together to come up here and, do some video and do some filming, maybe get an RV up here, maybe not a 2-disc challenge because this course would be brutal to do a 2-disc challenge on, but maybe we could do some kind of modified doubles or maybe a flex start seats here or something like that.
Cool.
That would be awesome. Cool.
If we play doubles, you're my partner and Bobby can fend for himself.
Okay. Okay. Deal.
Maybe I can get Paige Pierce on my team.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
That works too.
Yeah.
So, all right, Eric, we'll let you get back to it. We know you got a lot going on, and we know you're loving going out there and designing courses and stuff like that. So we'll let you get back to it. And thanks for letting us give you a call while you're out there doing what you love doing.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
All right.
Later, bud.
All right, so excellent stuff from Eric McCabe. He's having a great time out there doing some course design. So make sure if you're in that area, you pay attention. Hopefully they have a Facebook group, I'm assuming, so you can kind of know what is going on as far as when the course is opening up. And I hope you're recording. Yes,
he is.
All right, good guy, Devin. So anyway, good stuff from Eric McCabe. So let's jump back into our questions. And
we got a drastic upgrade over here.
And if you notice on the video, we now have Miss Denise Cameron from Latitude 64. She has come over here to Anthony had to go to do Paige Bjerkes' point of view for the Dynamic Disc live video. Make sure you follow us on Dynamic Discs, and every Tuesday, typically every Tuesday, they do a live video, and Paige talks about a disc, gives you her review on the disc. But anyway, we have Denise Cameron sitting in for Eric McCabe to help answer the questions. Well, but first, how are you doing, Denise?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Good. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Freedom Fest.
Oh yeah, Freedom Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun.
Did you?
That little course is awesome.
Isn't it cool?
I hope it gets put in permanently.
Yeah, me too.
It really it has kind of the old growth trees that are spread out a little bit to where you have multiple lines to hit, but you have to hit a line. It's not like most of our courses here where there's either one line or it's just wide open.
Yeah.
It's different, but that's my favorite kind of course.
Yeah, I got to play the Freedom Fest, the morning session or morning round. That was really cool.
What'd you shoot?
Shot at 63.
Nice.
What'd you shoot?
She got you.
I
know
you.
she did.
I shot 52.
I know.
I played pretty good.
She's good.
They were the card behind us, and every time we looked around, D was just, park. Oh, not a big deal.
It doesn't surprise me.
It was just good upshots.
Yeah, my putting was terrible. I had some good drives, some really good drives. Like I was happy, and then my putting stank.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
You and Anthony both, by the way.
Well, what's funny?
Anthony was on fire. Sorry, I didn't mean to get excited, but he was on my card. He must have hit the basket, like the cage, probably at least 10 deuce putts. Or if he was just this much higher, they all would. Yeah, it was crazy. He was just all over it. We kept giving him dots.
Yeah, when he would hit the cage.
Yeah.
So he shot 51. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So right on the edge.
What was funny is that I think we had like 2 or 3 holes left. No, we had a couple holes left, and Anthony came up because he was playing the afternoon round. They had split it up that way. And I was ending, and he came up to me and said, "How you doing?" I said, "Man, my putting is stinking." I was like, blah, blah, blah. And then I drained like a 50-foot putt.
Yeah, just
it was like
in your face.
Like that? That's how it's sucking?
Yeah.
He said, no,
I just haven't been making the 60-footers.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so all right, good stuff, Denise. Thanks for coming on board and helping us out with the question in Eric McCabe's absence.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and someone actually on the earlier said they wished not farewell.
Farewell.
Words.
No, they were wishing good health on Ralph.
There you go. Good health on Ralph. So give us a little
recovery
checkup on Ralph.
He's doing pretty good. We've really just not let him do anything because that's what they said. They said he needed a solid 2 weeks to really let the muscles rest and recuperate around where the hip socket is. So he's been super bored and pretty grumpy.
Poor guy.
You can totally tell with Ralph. He has a very grumpy demeanor when he's not happy.
Yeah, that's true. He's an expressive dog.
Yeah, he is very expressive. So we took him out Sunday, and I got there about halfway or towards the end of the AM round, and then we walked around in between, and then Eric walked him for the PM round when I played, and he started to get a little sore, a little limpy. So Eric ended up putting him in the car, but the next day I expected him to be hurting a little, and he was fine. So I think that's a good sign. We're going to start getting him back on walks and stuff.
Well, I know that Eric, they were sitting down, and we were just kind of sitting waiting for the I think it was the second round to start. And Eric was like really scratching his neck, like really going after it. And Eric said that he can't, because of his hip, he can't scratch there. So Eric was helping him out.
It is so funny because he can't get that left leg up. Yeah. So pretty much like shoulder area, up his neck, onto the side of his face, even his chin. If you start scratching him on that left side, he just goes nuts. Like I'm afraid he's gonna pull a muscle from like straining, trying to get that area closer to you. I'm like,
I thought that was funny. So
poor guy.
All right, let's get into the questions. This one is from Joe.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man. This is Joe from Columbia, Missouri. So, Robert, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge McCall. Eric, I make it rain, but I don't plane it. McCabe.
That's really good.
And Bobby, Big Daddy Cool Breeze, don't call me Bob unless I'm dropping bombs over Baghdad. We always talk about growing the sport, but what about the past? One of the things that I think would be a cool show idea is to go through all the members of the Disc Golf Hall of Fame and do a backstory on each of them so we can learn more about them. Also, who do you think belongs in the Hall of Fame that isn't there yet? Some of the names come to my mind are Dave McCormick, LaRon Harris, and Ron Converse. Thanks.
Good question. What do you think, Robert?
Nice. People who should be in the Hall of Fame but who aren't yet. LaRon was the first one that came to my mind. He's just been in the game for so long and doing so many things, not only as a player, but as a promoter and an ambassador for disc golf. I really think Ron Converse could be there as well. Couple time, I guess back-to-back Grandmasters world champion. And doesn't really show any signs of slowing down. I mean, he keeps up with the best of them pretty much all the time. And then, I guess Dave McCormick has been in the game for a long time as well. He's the owner of Gateway Disc Sports, if you don't know that. Anyone else that I would add just right now?
Anyone you can think of, Denise?
That's a tough one.
I definitely think LaRon and Ron Con, both those guys are, I think, shoe-ins. I'm not sure exactly what the criteria is for being put into the Hall of Fame, but those guys are too.
Yeah, I like
old school classic discers that have been around and doing well for a while and do a lot for the sport. Did Jay and Dez get?
I think Dez got in. I don't know if Jay did. Gotcha. I'm pretty sure.
I would say those two because they've done a lot for the sport, been around for a long time.
I think it was LaRon only because I had never heard of LaRon Harris. Even after I'd met Eric McCabe and known him for a while, I'd never really heard of LaRon until I think he came up to do something, and maybe Eric had mentioned his name once or twice. And the reason that I make the connection with Eric is because Eric has always said that LaRon was really kind of a mentor for him as far as disc golf, and he tailored a lot of his style, his form from LaRon. And I got to know LaRon a little bit more once he was put on Team Dynamic Discs. He does do great things out at Kansas City for, growing the sport and teaching people disc golf. But it wasn't until I saw a few pictures that he posted on his Facebook page that were some old pictures. And he was hanging out with like Ken Climo.
Mm-hmm.
He had all the big names. He was hanging out and playing with them. I'm thinking, this guy is like...
He's the real deal.
Yeah, old school disc golf from back in the day. We know about the Ken Climos and we know about Crazy John Brooks because they're still kind of in the top scene now. But because LaRon had some health issues, he wasn't able to continue with his disc golf career like some of the other big names. And so when that question came up, LaRon was one of the first names that popped in my head for sure.
You gave me another good idea when you were talking about old photos. What about Thomas Ekstrom?
Yeah, I almost said that too.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he is?
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
I knew somebody over there was. I wasn't sure if it was Thomas or not. That's awesome.
Nice.
Anyway,
well deserved.
And probably us here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a few more years to do some things.
Some things, yeah.
Yeah, like lots of things.
And if you're not sure, when we say Thomas, we're talking about Thomas Ekstrom, who is from Latitude 64. He is the designer of the discs that you throw if you throw our brands. And he's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah,
he's won some events back in the past. So,
and he's a funny dude too.
He's a funny guy.
He's a goofball.
Let's go to the next question. This one's from David.
Okay, so my question has to do with basically dealing with soreness as you're trying to perfect your technique. And basically, I've played disc golf for probably around 15 years or so. I'm 30 now. And just in the past few months, I've kind of tried to get into the actual technique of, the reach back, the X step, the follow through, all that. So I've kind of maybe jumped in a little, little zealous. And as far as like really trying to rip on some drives, where maybe I should hold back a bit as I'm still perfecting the form so that I don't, injure myself. But, of course I know stretching and all that plays a big part as well. But, basically I was just wondering if you could elaborate on like how you kind of worked through those kind of growing pains, as you went through trying to incorporate the lower body more and doing all of that. And then, because I do feel like a lot of the pain is kind of in my shoulder and upper back, on that side. So I appreciate you taking the question.
So before you say anything, Robert, this is something that I've noticed just in my short time watching disc golf or being involved in disc golf. I remember when I first started, and it seemed like a lot of people, when they go play these tournaments, even when they play like an A-tier tournament, I see them like going out and partying the night before. I see them waking up, and so the way they wake up is they're downing a 20-ounce can of Monster or some kind of high-energy sugar drink.
And they should choose something more healthy like Dr. Pepper.
Right. Or, yeah. and then they get upset come second round when they're not playing as well. Yeah. And I'm thinking, you're not taking this serious. This is more than you. Yes, this is a real sport. Your body needs to be conditioned to be able to walk, the 10,000 steps that you're going to take out on the course. And then of course, you're throwing and the mental part of it and everything. You need to take care of yourself. And so I think it's awesome that I see a lot more people taking this aspect more serious when it comes to improving their disc golf game.
Yeah.
But so what are some tips, Robert, that you can share?
I think this is a really astute observation. His name is David. Is that right?
His name is David. Yes.
Yes. David, I think you've made a really astute observation in that because disc golf is relatively low impact, a lot of people think I can just go do it day after day after day. I can go throw 100, 200 drives in a field, and then next day just get back at it. And then we're confused whenever we're sore after that.
Right.
This is just like any other physical or athletic activity where if you don't have the muscle memory and muscle stamina built up, you are not going to be able to perform to the best of your ability until you have it. So I tell people when they're starting to work on their form to try and treat it like you're training more for like a long bike race or a marathon or something like that, where you don't go out and run your 26.2 miles the very first day, because that you're only going to wear yourself out. You won't be able to train for days after that. Instead, I like to just start incrementally. I'll go, if I'm working on something in particular in my form that I know is going to access different muscle groups that I'm not used to using, I'll go and only practice that for 10 minutes a day. And then maybe I'll do that for a couple of days, and then I'll do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, things like that, just so I don't have the fatigue to where I put in all this work and it feels really good, and then I can't remember it because I wasn't able to train the next day. So I'd say the biggest tip is just exactly kind of like you said, just doing it in moderation. Start by playing, 9 holes for the first day, or play 18 holes and then take a day off to make sure that you're totally rested and ready before you go back at it. This happened to me when I was learning to throw forehands. I reached back super far and I was like, I can throw far and stuff. And then I had this old tennis elbow thing that started to develop. It's a little bit of bursitis in your elbow, and it made forehands not only painful but backhands. And for a bit, I tried to just fight through it. And I was probably 25, 26 when this happened. And it just sucks. Like, you're not playing as well. You're getting frustrated because it hurts. And then you finally are forced to take time off. And then you realize that's kind of the only way that you could do what you need to do. And so I would say moderation and then rest are the two most important things for me. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, yeah, definitely. Same thing you said. Anytime you're doing anything physical that's new to your body, I mean, typically if you're just playing disc golf with your, usual form, you're not really trying to mix anything up. You're just going off muscle memory. If you play a lot, you usually don't get too sore. It's not till you start trying new stuff and trying to tweak your form that you start to have those issues. And you just got to take it easy. Don't overdo it one day. Don't throw 100 drives if you're trying to work on a new form.
Right.
Just try to take it slow and just kind of moderate how much effort you put in on a daily basis. But then on top of that, if you're changing, I've noticed that when I change one thing in my form, it can really throw off other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be concentrating more on your reach back or trying to throw harder. And who knows, you may not be following through all the way like you did before.
Or like taking a longer last step or something.
Yeah, because for me, I've been really working on getting my lower body involved more. And I've noticed like a lot of soreness in my hips and stuff that I had never noticed before. So that just shows that you're activating and getting new muscle memory, which is awesome, but you do need to make sure you do it in moderation, because any kind of strength training, they always say, you need to give yourself time to rest and recuperate. But then also make sure you're maybe filming your form as you're experimenting with, new things, fixing your reach back, and make sure you are hitting those important parts as far as being smooth and making sure you're follow through. Because not doing those things are definitely will cause injuries more so.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Next question comes from Greg.
What is happening, disc golf answer men? So I want to make a road trip out of one of the big tournaments next year. And I was wondering, from the perspective of a spectator, which tournament would you suggest that I attend? Keep it real.
I honestly thought that he started talking about a road trip, and the feedback in the back sounded honestly like a guitar, like we were about to just hear him hit something super loud on an amplifier or something, but it was just...
I thought it was like a razor.
Yeah, it was just feedback.
Okay.
But I was like, dude, this is about to be sick. Like road trip music. It wasn't. That's a good question. You've traveled to more tournaments than I have.
That is such a hard question.
Yeah. Let's just for the sake of argument, let's exclude GBO for right now, because GBO is it's going to be one of our answers for sure. We talked about it earlier in the show. It's an environment and experience you shouldn't miss. Period.
So should we do top 3 maybe?
Top 3.
So for me, I would say it really depends on what you are into, what you like to watch, whether you like to watch, wide open golf where the guys are just smashing these huge, 500 plus foot drives, or if you like to see the more technical golf where you see somebody, maybe a shorter drive, but they lace something through a super tight hole in the woods. Personally for me, when I go on a disc golf road trip, it's 80% disc golf, but it's also 20% what else is around.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorites, I love Vibram Open. That course is just amazing, and it's so cool to watch how accurate the players can be. Second, I would probably say Milo. Mm-hmm. So for Beaver State Fling, go out there and check that out, because those are courses that kind of give you that. You see the big bomb shots, but you also see people really having to hit some tight lines. And then third, I'd probably say Santa Cruz. Because if you never watch somebody throw off the top of the world, you're definitely missing out there.
Right. We were talking about disc golf experiences that we think everybody should experience. And the first two that you said are two of the ones that I said too, which was Vibram. Yeah, it's just a massive course and beautiful property, tight lines. It's awesome.
Yep. And you can go next door too to over to Marshall Street, play Pyramids, and kind of 2-for-1 deal.
For sure. And then I haven't been out to Milo before, but that's on my list. I will go to Milo and play there, whether it's in the Beaver State Fling or not, before I'm done playing disc golf, because it looks fantastic. The only other place that I would recommend, because I haven't been to Santa Cruz before, I do want to make it out to De La Viega at some point, because it's just, it's like an iconic course in our sport.
Yeah.
I think that this isn't so much for a tournament, but it would be more like a disc golf destination, is Sailor Ranch down in Texas. I guess it's about an hour east-ish of DFW, but 2 Houck designed courses on land where you can take golf carts and things like that. I think that's a super cool place to go check it out.
Yeah, that place is epic for sure.
Yeah, but again, if like that's because GBO is a default. If you're going to make one visit one time, I would truly say Glassbone, because it's just awesome here. It really is.
I would recommend top on the list would be Escanaba, Detroit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the place.
That's right. That one place.
That picture Eric posted.
Find that place.
Really cool.
Go there, and then you've arrived.
And you've arrived.
That's it, man.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will hear Robert's quick tip of the week. All right, so like I did like we did last week, we called a few people and had them ask their question while on a phone call with us. This time we only had Robert McCall with us and myself, so we're able to ask Robert. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that, guys.
Let down.
So we're going to listen to those conversations real quick.
That's right.
Is this the DD hotline right here?
This is the DD hotline. Is this Andrew?
Yes, it is.
What's up, Andrew? How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing wonderful. So what
Let
question?
me mute my computer here so I don't get the feedback.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Where are you from, Andrew?
So, I had a question. I'm out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep.
Nice.
I had a question. I had a tournament this weekend where I had a guy on my card, and I play intermediate. Okay. So I had a guy on my card who wasn't doing the best at following rules, just like little stupid rules.
Yeah.
And it was getting really annoying. Like, he was doing a lot of things like making quick movements in your like peripheral vision, like when you're putting, you know, that kind of deal.
Yes.
Yeah. It got to the point where it like really, really affected my play when he shot out a turn. And then when I was finally able to take my shot, which I should have been able to shoot, there was a nasty headwind, caused me to go B. I lost it. Like, mentally, over the next 5 holes, I gave up probably a good 4 or 5 strokes that I shouldn't have.
Right.
Well, what can I do to what's the best way to deal with someone like that on your card? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Punch him in the face?
Yeah,
no,
good call. Good
Clearly
call,
not. I'm trying to represent and grow the sport in a positive way. Punch someone in the face. Right?
Thanks a lot, Bobby, for your suggestion. No, that's a really hard situation, because the hard fact of playing any sport where you don't get to choose who you're playing with is sometimes there will be people who get on your nerves, and then there will be sometimes people who don't follow the rules the way they're supposed to, and a lot of times those people are the same people. And so when it's a situation like that, if I notice that a player is doing something either while I'm throwing or while somebody else is throwing, I'll just go and address it head on, and not in a rude way, but in a direct way, where I would just say, hey, when we're taking our I don't know, our routines or we're in our backswing or anything like that, would you please just mind staying still? If you're way behind us and there's no way we could see you, yeah, do your thing. But for the most part, when people are throwing, would you mind just staying still? Or this has happened to me before where me and a bunch of guys that I'm good enough friends with, we're having a good time out on the course. We're kind of just joking between shots and between holes and everything. And that can kind of sort of keep going throughout the round. And even when people are on the tee, we're still kind of joking and laughing with one another and everything. And so I've stopped before and just, laughed with them for another minute and then just say, hey, let's throw out tee shots. We're live on the tee, something like that. So I think the best way to do it is just by being direct about it, because if what he's doing is annoying you and it's affecting your play, it's not affecting him at all, because he's like
exactly
clueless, Exactly. And so as much as I can, I try to make it so that I'm responsible for my play, and anything else that distracts me, I want to be able to say something to somebody about it. So with things like that, I would go ahead.
What if you tried what if you say something about it and it doesn't change the situation?
Right.
Where do you go from there?
That's a good question. I haven't had that one happen before, to tell you the truth. I would.
Oh, lucky you.
Right. Yeah. I would talk to the other players on the card about it, and then I would probably report it to the TD. If it's a sort of thing where, like you said, he's moving in your backswing or consistently throwing out of turn. I mean, the things like that are in the rules of play, like throwing out of turn, I would just give him a warning about it, honestly. But eventually, I mean, going to the TD and just saying, hey, this is what we had to deal with during the round. We warned him. We asked him politely. Nothing happened. That at that point, you've done your responsibility. You've done your due diligence to ask him to not do that. And it just needs to be, I don't know, run up the flagpole, I guess. That sucks, though. It's a really crappy situation.
Yeah. The only thing I can really think of, moving forward here, if I run into this situation again, would be to keep headphones on me, and kind of try to drown everybody out.
Right. Not a bad play.
Take that approach to it. I mean, it's just, I did not like the situation I was in this week.
Yeah, I get that. You just got to know that if, you got to know that there's going to be, I hate to say consequences, but yeah, if you bring it up to someone, hopefully that person will just be like, oh, maybe they'll realize that, yes, they were being distracted and they'll stop. But then just know that you probably will have created a awkward situation. I mean, there's times where, even if someone gets mad and they pitch a fit, it creates an awkward situation. So I can imagine that if you had to say, hey, guy, you need to stop moving around while I'm putting or on my backswing, whatever, it's going to create an awkward situation. So maybe just throwing on some headphones and just worrying about your game and not their game, hopefully that will take care of it. But it kind of depends on what your level of tolerance is, I suppose.
Right.
And you got to know that, I'm here to play. I paid to play, so I'm not going to let anybody ruin that. So.
Yep. Yeah. Except for myself.
That's a good thought process.
Yeah. Except for myself. I can ruin whatever I want just by playing poorly anytime. Awesome, man.
All right, Andrew. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for calling in, bud.
Hey, also, just a quick follow-up here. How close are we on mystery boxes, man? I am wanting to get my hands on some mystery boxes.
They are in the works as we speak. We've got a couple of special kind of projects, ideas that we're working on before we really put them out there and say this is what it's going to be. So if those things go through, they're going to be extra special mystery boxes.
I know of some extra specialness that's happening.
That's right. But it's going to be. It'll be worth the wait. It'll be worth the wait.
It'll be worth it for sure.
Make it harder to wait.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, so on the live show here on Instagram, I apologize. I should have restated the question. His question is about what do you do and how do you handle if you have somebody that's kind of interrupting your play or maybe moving around in your backswing or something like that. Remember, you can listen to the full question from the caller on the actual show, but we're going to see. I got another number that I wrote down. Let's see if we can call this person real quick. Hang on. I believe it was Craig.
Yeah.
Was the name. Yeah, Craig. Oops. It's not even typing out the numbers. I love it when my computer. Oh, there it goes. It's like slow. Huh? Yeah, I wrote down this. I believe I got the right one where it said that the first one was wrong. All right, let's see if Craig answers the phone.
Hello?
Hello, is this Craig?
Yeah, it's Craig.
Hey, Craig, this is Bobby from Disc Golf Management. How are you doing?
I'm great, Bobby. How y'all doing?
I'm doing really good.
What's up, Craig?
So you had, I think you posted real quick in your comments, you had a question about playing in cold weather. Is that right?
Yeah, I live in Louisville, Texas. Doesn't get super cold here, but starting, today is a little bit cooler, but it's starting to get cool, and I hadn't been playing that long, and just want to know what you guys do to get yourself prepared for cold weather. Is it, maybe better to let your hands get acclimated to the cool and keep it that way? Or do you try to keep your hands as warm as possible and then, shock them if you take them out of a glove or just whatever, kind of information you guys might have, input you guys might have on that?
Robert, what do you got for advice for playing in cold weather?
It's a good question, Craig, and good to hear from you, man. Craig and I played together at the Nissan Stadium experience, so that was pretty good time. All right, so the tournament I played this weekend, it was supposed to be nice throughout the day, high of 65 and not much wind, and instead it was misty and about 40. And so I had to do some of the things that we're talking about. When I'm preparing for colder weather tournaments, layering is the number one thing. If I want to get the maximum benefit out of the layers that I'm wearing, and so if I'm going to maybe shed a jacket, I want to make sure that it's a heavy enough jacket where it actually makes a difference. Because if I just wear kind of a long sleeve thin shirt and then another thin jacket and maybe a hoodie on top, that's a really bulky setup. And so I like to usually do a long sleeve shirt that's a little bit thicker or something, and then one of the thicker jackets that I've got are thicker hoodies, just so that I can still move around but still be warm. When it comes to my hands, I detest throwing with cold fingers, and I would think most people would feel the same. And so I'll bring gloves for that. I'll bring hand warmers for that. But here's a tip that, it's going to sound weird when I say it, but the warmest place on my body while playing disc golf is just if you just stick your hand on your hip, like on your hip or on your leg or something like that, inside your pants. By the way, that's why I'm saying it's kind of weird. It's so, I'm telling you, it's so much warmer than anywhere else, and that helps to get my hands warm again. And so I think you'll see a lot of golfers doing that. It kind of looks weird if you don't really know what's going on, but that's honestly how I get my hands back warm if they're cold from a glove or something like that. But yeah, layering is super important. Hand warmers, gloves, super important. But I really try my best to keep my hands as warm as possible. So even when you do take them out of a glove, if it's cold for a minute, that's fine. But if it's been cold for a little while, you start to lose that touch and that sense of feeling where you feel like you have control over the disc. So that's what I do in general. I usually make sure to take lots of towels as well, because when things get wet, they stay cold a lot quicker. So I just dry everything off as thoroughly as possible.
Great, man. Thanks. That's good advice. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir, Craig.
My advice, Craig?
He's going to say, yeah. Never mind. I won't spoil it.
Wait till the next season and wait till winter's over.
I was going to say, he's going to say, don't play in the cold.
Yeah, don't play
Guaranteed.
in the cold. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, I've already signed up for a tournament that's in early December. Oh. And so I guess I'm kind of stuck with that. But
what's the name of the tournament?
It is the Hyzer Olympics.
Oh yeah,
in Carrollton, Texas.
Nice.
That's one Steve-O and Brad are going to run down there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, Craig. Well, thanks so much for calling in, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Can't wait to see you guys at Arrowhead when that comes up too.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
That sounds good, man. We'll see you, Craig. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye. All right, so that was a lot of fun getting on the phone calls with people. We're going to keep doing that. I'm going to continue to try to figure out ways, get the equipment I need so that we can make sure that all our listeners of the live show are able to hear the questions as well. We can have some more fun with some live stuff here on the show. But right now we're going to listen to Robert's quick tip. Of the week.
There we go. All right. So we have gotten several questions about topics that we should cover, whether on the blog or on the podcast. And here's one that I've been asked about recently, and this is a very, very beginner friendly tip, and it's more of just kind of explaining what something is. So I've heard people ask quite a bit what a Hyzer flip is, because you hear people say that a lot, and unless you actually know what it is, maybe you think it's something different. So when people talk about a Hyzer flip, what they're referring to is when you let a disc go on Hyzer, which the leading edge of the disc is toward the ground rather than toward the sky. Then once you release that on Hyzer, it's usually with a relatively understable disc to where it naturally stands up to flat or even turned over to the right a little bit for a right-hand backhand thrower. The reason that you would use a Hyzer flip is if you really like to release things on Hyzer and it's a more consistent release for you, as it is for most people, especially, in the woods and places like that, then you don't have to take a stable disc and throw it really hard flat. You can let your disc go on Hyzer and it can stand up to flat. You can get a really good amount of distance off of that. And I think you can get really controllable flights off of that. And so if you are going to work on throwing Hyzer flip shots, one thing I would suggest is getting a more understable disc. For us, like I'll throw a Renegade if I'm playing in the woods where it's just real slow turn, or even an Escape or something like that for me. And when you release it on Hyzer, commit to the Hyzer angle, because if you try to flip it over, it's going to flip too fast. You want the disc on a Hyzer flip to naturally do the work for you. So I'll commit to a Hyzer, 20 degrees or something like that, and follow through on Hyzer, and then just let the disc work up. And that is how to throw a Hyzer flip. And I don't know, I'm a natural Hyzer releaser, so is Eric. And it's a shot I throw all the time and I lean on a whole lot. So that's what that is.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Robert McCall.
Yes.
If you want to hear more tips, or not more, but you want to read more, learn more from Robert McCall, you can go to dynamicdisc.com, go to the blog section, and you'll see Robert McCall's tips out there.
They're different ones than these.
They're different ones, yes.
Yeah.
Much different.
They are. I didn't write a Hyzer flip on there, did I?
I'm just teasing.
Well, did I, Bobby? Come on.
I'm laughing because earlier you were trying to figure out what you're going to talk about. You're like, oh, no, I'm going to write about. Oh, I'm going to write about that one.
Yeah, because I don't want them to overlap.
No, I appreciate that.
Don't waste the good stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Next question comes from Greg again from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Escanaba.
Snuffleupagus.
What's happening, disc golf answer men? So I've been playing disc golf for around 5 or 6 years now, but just within this last year, I got pretty serious about it. And now I'm thinking about breaking into the local tournament scene. And I was wondering if you guys had any tips on how I should go about doing this. Maybe you could tell us a story about how you got your start in your first tournaments. That'd be great. Keep it real, guys.
That's a fun question.
So, yeah, to get started playing tournaments, simply sign up and play a tournament.
And next question.
And then no, I'm kidding.
No, how did it go for you, D?
So I love telling this story because I
got you.
Okay, you keep talking with the microphone.
I've had questions like that, heard questions like that, and for me, I started playing when I lived in Florida, and it was super casual for a good 4+ years. Barely kept score. A bad shot off in the woods would oftentimes get carried back to the fairway before it was thrown again. But it wasn't until I moved to upstate New York and started looking around for different courses and, checking out the disc golf scene up there that I got connected with the local club president. He gave me my first appropriate disc for a beginner. I guess I was a little more than a beginner at that point, but I had no form. I wouldn't say I was doing things correctly, But from there, meeting that one person, just by reaching out and trying to find the local courses, meeting that one person, then I got encouraged to come check out some of the leagues. I really liked the first league that I played in consistently. It was a Thursday night handicap league, which is great for anyone who's a beginner because where you finish in the league is based on how you improve every week, which it's encouraging, to kind of have that step go. So that was my first step. Was once I got connected with the club is checking out the leagues, and then from leagues signed up for my first tournament, and it just usually snowballs from there. You get super addicted, and then That's your life. Welcome to disc golf world.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just like the rest of us now. That's how it was for me too. I started playing in college, and I had played disc golf maybe twice in high school, just with some friends who enjoyed it but didn't really care much about it. I'd always enjoyed throwing an ultimate frisbee, just tossing around with friends and things like that. So a buddy of mine, I guess I was a senior in college, said, "Hey, let's go play disc golf." And I said, "All right, that sounds good. I've only played a couple times, but I guaranteed I'm going to smoke you at this. Like, I'm going to crush you because I'm intensely competitive." Less so now. I know.
way.
Less so now than I was then, but like I want to win. Like, losing is not fun. Okay.
You say less so now?
Yeah. I'm less competitive now than I was
Did you have
then.
friends back then?
No,
I didn't
You're
think so.
pretty competitive, dude.
Yeah. No, it's been worse. Anyway, my wife and friends at the time can attest to that. So we went out and I almost beat him, but by almost beat him, he beat me by like 20. Right? I mean, just wrecked me, like hurt my feelings. And so I was like, I don't give a crap about this stupid freaking sport, but I will do it until I beat you at it. Just, I'm going to beat you. You suck. I'm going to win. And so like, that was my only motivation for our first few times. And eventually we got to where we were closer and closer. And I obviously started liking disc golf a little bit more. And we got to where I was playing in Abilene and we were at Cal Young Park and I was shooting, I don't know, 1 or 2 over. Every once in a while I'd shoot par or 1 under. Which is fine, but I mean, that course has a whole lot of birdies. But at the time, we thought we were like, hot stuff. Like, I shot 53. Guys are dropping 43s. Right. And so I saw a guy while we were out on the course just parking everything. And I was like, oh man, there's people who are way better at this than me. I should find out where I can meet these people. And then I started playing a local league, got smoked the first time, and said, I will play one of these until I can win. Right. And then got into tournaments after that. But by then I was hooked. And so, finding local people who you respect and who are playing better than you, and then just, hopping on their cards and saying, let's play together. I want to learn how you improve. Handicap leagues are great. Doubles leagues are really great because you get the chance to play with someone oftentimes who is better than you. And if your partner isn't, then maybe other people on your card are, so you can learn from them. I love getting to do stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, so it seems like the advice is just get more involved in the disc golf scene. So you kind of know what's going on as far as tournaments and stuff like that. I just today I had someone ask me, how do I get more involved? They were wanting to do some stuff to get more involved with disc golf. And I said, get involved with the disc golf scene. And why I'm telling you this story is because, then I was told that their disc golf scene, doesn't really help out, beginners. It seems to be more advanced or intermediate people. And the thing is when we tell you go find the disc golf community, not everybody's going to be super, super duper
like
helpful. Yeah. Helpful. Yay, disc golf. You're the best. And everybody loves everybody. There's going to be politics. Why? Because people are involved in people.
Yeah. Because people are people.
Are people. Or as they said on the Muppet movie, people's is people's.
Yeah. It's a good point.
So,
relevant quote.
Yes.
It's right.
So my point is that just wade through all that and you'll find somebody. I'm sure you'll find at least 1 or 2 other people that have similar interests and similar thinking as you do, and still be involved as much as you can.
Don't get discouraged if you do run into that guy.
Exactly.
Because every club has one.
Every club has
friggin'
one.
guy.
Make sure you don't.
Dang it.
Don't hold that guy against the rest of the club. Because I think a big part for me of getting my love from disc golf grew from not only learning more about the game and, as you get a little better at it, you get a little more excited. But the disc golf community, man, that upstate, shout out to CNY DGA. But if it wasn't for those guys, all my favorite old dudes that I started playing like serious disc golf with, I wouldn't have pursued it like I have. So.
What did you call the club? CNY
DGA.
I really expect to look over and see you throwing up some gang signs when you said that.
Oh, I never thought about
CNY.
I don't know. I'm not very gang signy.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
All right, let's go with one more question from James.
Hey guys, this is James calling in from Colorado Springs, Colorado. First of all, thanks so much for everything you guys do. You're awesome. Love the podcast. I just have a question about mold minimalization and what you think about it. Are you a fan? Are you not? I think of Philo Brathwaite, who has like 5 molds, and like Nate Doss, who has I think 7. And I was just wondering if there's anyone on the Dynamic Discs team that kind of has the same philosophy with their discs. So thanks a lot, and look forward to your input.
Thanks, James.
Nice.
Mold minimization. Well, let's clarify something real quick. Yes, Nate Doss only throws like 7 molds, but some of the molds that he throws are old. Like he's got predators in there that he's had for 10 years that aren't really a predator. So if he were to lose it, it'd be like, I mean, I'm sure he has backups, but most people, they'd probably have to get a different disc. Like I think Discraft came out with like a Thrasher or something like that I've seen that flies like I think what his predators fly like right now. I don't think it's a bad thing to minimize the molds in your bag. I certainly don't think it's a good thing to have one of every mold, to where if I need a high speed shot that finishes left, I carry an Enforcer. And if I need one that goes straight, I carry a Trespass. And if I need one that turns to the right, I carry a Renegade. Like having discs in different stages of wear is helpful to you because you have already that disc feels comfortable to you. You knew the flight characteristics when you started throwing it, and so you've watched it progress into what it is. I think that sort of disc is easier to trust than a brand new disc out of the box, because every company's discs have inconsistencies, and without just getting out and throwing them a whole lot, you may not know if a brand new disc is going to fly like you want it to. So I do recommend and do implement for myself mold minimization in my bag, but it's within reason. I carry defenders, I carry enforcers, trespasses, criminals, convicts. I usually just carry 1 verdict, 1 justice, a few EMAC truths, several wardens, things like that. So it's not a ton of molds. But if it's only for the sake of, say you really, really like how a Renegade flies, but you're like, oh man, that's just 1 more mold in my bag. I don't freak out too much about that. If it's just a one-off, throw that in. If that disc flies how you want, man, use that disc. Don't try and beat another disc into being that disc if you already have the disc that you need. I'd say it can be overdone, and a bunch of people, maybe not a bunch of people, but some people fall prey to that occasionally.
What about you, Denise? Do you think do you have a lot of molds, or you do?
I'm a big proponent of mold minimalization. Yeah. And the reason being is that, you can say you have a different mold for every single shot that you could possibly throw. Mm-hmm. And of course you can get crazy, but say, 12 plus molds, I'd say is maybe like 15 plus is on the high side. But the way I look at it is you can have, that 1 disc of each mold, and maybe you have a couple of the ones you really throw a lot. But if you lose that disc, the chances of you replacing that with one that flies exactly the same is very low, especially if it's a disc that's been in your bag for a while because you've seasoned it a little bit. So I really encourage people to build a simple bag, especially starting out. Build a simple bag that has kind of a good range of stability. You have kind of your overstable, your neutral, and your other understable,
and each speed,
and your putters, your mids, your fairways, your drivers. Then you build your basic well-rounded bag, and then you really learn your discs. You really get a feel for them, and when you're going out and doing field work, I think a lot of people that kind of like to keep minimal molds usually keep at least two of the things they throw a lot. Because typically you'll end up with one that's a little newer and one that's a little more seasoned. So you're always transitioning. If your seasoned one gets to the point where it's too flippy, maybe you now use that for flippier shots. Maybe you yank it out of your bag, but you always have one right behind it that's kind of seasoning in. And so you're always going to have discs that you're familiar with how they fly, and you're always going to kind of have a backup working in. To where if you lose something, if you carry one of everything and they have to be brand new,
it's tough to maintain.
Yeah, most disc golfers can't, continually replace a brand new disc to keep that same stability.
Right.
Their discs are going to break in over time.
Now, my perspective is a little different because, when I look at the two of you guys play a lot of disc golf. Mm-hmm. If we were to take a 2-week time period, I would say maybe I've played twice, whereas you guys have played probably 15 times.
2 weeks? It'd be more than once a day.
You don't play
more than once a day?
Like if it's on a...
No.
Well, I remember like one time, like Eric and Denise were like playing every night. It seemed like,
we
or at
used
least
to play almost every single day.
Yeah, she would. I mean, at the very least they would go out and play when you lived closer to Jones East. Was it Jones East?
We actually live closer to Jones East now.
No, you live
to
closer
Hammond
to,
is what they
but
were
you would
before.
go out and I would drive by and I would see you guys at least on the Marksman basket putting.
Oh yeah,
over there putting. Or Eric was doing something throwing, and Denise was over on the practice basket. So I'm not.
So maybe not.
So my analogy's not far off.
Sorry. I guess I was thinking full rounds. My bad. You're right.
So anyway,
I'm wrong. You're
now
right.
I'm lost.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
You ruined his train of thought.
Yeah. So what
people who play more play less.
What I'm getting at is that for me now, I'm not saying that mold
I say minimization.
Minimization.
Yeah, whatever.
Did I say something different?
No, whatever.
Anyway, I think it's a good thing because I fall victim to wanting to try out new molds. And I'll literally look at my bag and like I can picture like a Renegade I have right now that probably looks brand new that I bought 2 months ago because I haven't thrown it hardly ever. In fact, there's sometimes like I have a red Renegade and a light blue Renegade because I love the Renegade, and then I have a Lucid Renegade that's in there as well. I really always grab that red one, and sometimes I'll grab that blue one because in my mind I'm thinking I've got to get that thing beat in a little bit, But that's because I don't play a whole lot. I'm not even sure what my point was, other than it's a little different depending on how often you play.
I kind of see where you're going with that,
yeah.
and it kind of brings up another point where, a good thing to think about is you look at your bag, and could you honestly say that how every disc you pull out of there flies? And see, that's why I think it comes a little different. For me, if I'm playing a lot of tournaments, I don't want to have any disc in my bag that I could pull out and I'm like, I think this one's really pretty stable, but I'm not really sure. I haven't thrown it a lot. Whereas when I'm playing more casually, that's when I'm likely to maybe throw something in the bag to try out. But for the most part, there's no off season when you're playing a lot of tournaments throughout the year. Even in the wintertime when you're maybe not playing a couple or more a month, you're still trying to learn those discs in your bag so that there's no question when you're in that situation.
And I'm all casual. I haven't played a sanctioned event in a while, but I mean, you actually hit on a really good point when you said that, Denise, because literally when we were playing the Freedom Fest, I thought to myself, I don't even know what the heck some of these discs do because I haven't thrown them in forever.
Right.
And so I don't know the feel of it releasing from my hand. I don't know to watch it do. It's like, and I mean, it's a little frustrating for me because I want to be, I want to be, I'm a casual player and I get that, but I still want to play well.
Yeah. Everyone wants to play well.
So,
for sure.
So anyway, one of the biggest things that I know practice to do is when you're going to go play a casual round, only grab maybe 4 molds. And force yourself. Grab a small bag or a Walmart bag or something, a little cadet bag, and only take 4 molds, what you need, a driver, a fairway, and a putter, and maybe a mid-range, obviously, or, some kind of combination, and see what happens. And you will really learn what those discs can do.
Yep, for sure.
And,
or one disc rounds.
Yeah,
too.
one disc rounds are, amazing to see that. But so that's something that definitely I challenge people to do at their local course on a Saturday if they got time. Grab only maybe 3 or 4 molds and force yourself to only play with those discs, and that'll help you learn your molds for sure.
Yep, I like that.
All right, so we're going to end this episode, but before we completely end it, we have a Slamma Jamma to give away.
Ooh.
So we have a classic, it's just classic, is it classic?
Classic blend.
Classic blend, a dynamic disc slammer that we asked you guys to give us the secret word. Do you remember what the secret word was?
I remember the secret word.
I bet you do.
It was Phi Slamma Jamma.
Phi Slamma Jamma.
Dedicated to the University of Houston. Clyde Drexler, Akeem Olajuwon, crushing the game. That's who it was.
So we had 301 entries. Nice. So really nice. Thank you guys for doing that.
Did I what?
Did you enter?
No.
So
you aren't going to win this. Okay.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So we're going to go to random number generator for Google. I'm going to plug in the number 2 and the number 302 because of it's on a spreadsheet and that's how it has it lifted out. And I'm going to hit generate random number.
Dun,
151.
No, what do you think it is, Denise?
What's the 0 to what?
2 to 302.
154.
No. 132.
Closer.
What did you say?
151.
Oh, really?
All
And
right.
I said
In your face.
154. That's like, what's that game?
It's like
Price is
closest
Right.
without going over.
Yeah. I didn't mean to do that. That was on purpose.
$1,001.
So who won it? Who
All
was
right. This is Rodrigo from Alabama.
Nice, Rodrigo.
Nice job.
Congrats, bud.
All right. So I'm going to highlight right here. Rodrigo, thank you for giving me your email address. I'm going to email you and confirm. I want to not congratulate. I want to apologize to our last winner because I forgot to email him. Thankfully, he emailed me and said,
Nice.
"Hey, did I miss that email?" Because I was like, "Oh, thank you, dude, for sending me." It was Daryl. Daryl.
Yeah, he deserves an extra disc for being a good listener.
Okay, I'll let it come out of your allotment.
I'm interested.
Okay, I've sent it already. Too late.
Okay.
Sorry, Daryl.
Sorry, Daryl.
So it's on its way. He's getting the Lucid Thief that we gave away last time, but now Rodrigo from Alabama is getting the Classic Blend Slammer. So hopefully you enjoy that. And just to double check, he did put the correct Phi Slamma Jamma in there.
Nice.
The 2 M's that were required.
Attaboy.
Wow.
And what's interesting, I'm looking at entry number 118, and guess what secret word he put in?
What?
Thievery Corporation.
Little too late.
Come on, folks.
Little too late, my
Pay
friend.
attention.
Gotta listen every week.
Oh, is that from the week
That's
before?
from the week before, yeah. Let's see if there's any weird...
Yeah, if you
someone said, I was a fan and so bummed when North Carolina State won.
Dude, see, that counts. That counts.
Oh, he put the right Phi Slamma
Right,
Jamma, but let's see.
If you do want to get
another
creative,
person put Thievery Corporation.
If you do want to get creative with your secret words and you happen to win, we will be the judge, but I would have counted that.
Right. Well, to be fair, we have to say it's random, so it's randoms. But yes, we do like to see the extra comment.
Yeah, make it happen.
You guys should have like a regular winner and then a most creative
Nice.
password.
I dig it. We'll give away 2 discs every week.
Someone put Why Slamma Jamma? Why Slamma Gamma?
Close.
I'm trying to see if there's any interesting other ones. There's another.
I'm excited for Rodrigo. This thing is sweet.
Oh,
yeah, I was spinning it. It spun good.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice disc.
That's how you know it's a good one.
Yeah, I totally believe in that.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this particular episode. Thank you so much. And make sure you're following Dynamic Discs on the social media channels because you don't know when we're going to pop up and be live and allow you to call in and ask your questions on the call-in show. Make sure you keep sending those questions in to discgolfansman.com. We are trying to get through all those. I've turned off the form for submitting questions written format because we have like 100 of them waiting to be answered. So we're going to try to get through those. This is episode 194. Remember, we are on a countdown to episode 200.
Oh, that's cool.
On episode 200, we're going to be giving away some goodies. One of those being a Dynamic Discs Ranger bag, or Ranger H2O.
Ranger H2O 200. Again, you're welcome.
Boom. You should be on the marketing team.
I know. I feel like I said that last week, but I still agree.
You still agree?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you do me a huge favor, head out to iTunes or even on Stitcher and go rate and review our show. It would really help us out. Thank you so much.